ladies and gentlemen, if you might have a seat, we're going to begin our program. First off, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our third annual World Wetlands Day celebration here at Carlson High School. I'm very pleased to say that this celebration is also celebrated throughout the world in 160 countries today.
Good afternoon. Are you awake? Fantastic. As Mr. Stevenson said, it's pretty neat, it's pretty important that we're celebrating World Wetlands Day. I think it was, for me, seeing these 25 organizations stand up, there's a message there. It takes all of us working together to protect wetlands. It takes all of us to do something like an international wildlife refuge. In your backyard is North America's only international wildlife refuge. Over the last 10 years, it's grown from 300 acres to over 5,700 acres, but the only way we could have done that is working in partnerships, so you need to remember that. We're also doing that because we're for protection of wildlife. That's key. We're part of a national wildlife refuge system, the premier land conservation organization in the world. Over 150 million acres, 556 national wildlife refuges, and only one international one, and it's in your backyard. Pretty great stuff. Mr. Stevenson said that it's the 10th anniversary of the refuge. Not only have we grown to 5,700 acres, but we've seen bald eagles return, lake sturgeon, and you'll be able to see some of those over in the tank here, lake whitefish, osprey nesting on a cell phone tower right behind your high school. Amazing ecological recovery, but we have a long ways to go. And it's going to require many generations. And we want you also to know that we are turning this over to you. It's going to be your responsibility to help be good stewards of wetlands wherever they may be. So don't forget that. Thank you for coming out today, and we look forward to seeing you out in our Gibraltar Wetlands Unit, out in Humbug Marsh, and thanks again for all you do to care for wetlands.
Thanks a lot, and welcome to detention. I've got about 2 hours worth of stuff here that I'm going to go over. But in all reality, happy World Wetlands Day. I'm the manager over at Monroe Power Plant. We're located just down south of here on the shores of the western basin of Lake Erie in Monroe, Michigan. I'm proud to represent DTE Energy here at the celebration of wetlands. Some of you might be wondering why DTE Energy is even here today. A bunch of coal power plants and natural gas facilities. But we're a community partner. And through these community partnerships, we recognize the importance of giving back, not only to the cities and towns that we serve, but to the wildlife communities that surround us. You all know the story about how Humbug Marsh was the last mile of undeveloped shoreline on the Detroit River, and how it was slated for development. When the Friends of the Detroit River and many others got involved, rallying right here at Carlson High School. Humbug Marsh was saved from development, which led to the creation of the Detroit International Wildlife Refuge. You may not know that behind the fences of DTE Energy properties, there's thousands of acres of undeveloped land. In fact, DTE Energy is one of the largest landowners in the state of Michigan. As you can imagine, a lot of this property is not used by DTE Energy in our operations, but it serves as a buffer between us and the towns and the communities that we serve, and the facilities, and to keep people away from the facilities that we run. Being one of the largest landowners in the state of Michigan, we need to manage that land. And due to the efforts of some very committed people in our company, people that commit their careers and allow their own personal time. And if I can get them to stand up for just a second, Matt and Roberta and Gary, could you stand up for a second? These guys were already recognized, but people like this that inspire a bunch of folks at DT Energy to do the right thing. But I want to recognize them for that, but I also want you to look at them for a second. The only problem is they're getting old, okay? And they need people like you to replace them, because everything good that happens starts with an individual that cares. And that individual inspires other people to do the right thing. People that want to do the right thing that don't know what to do. So every one of you are going to have that chance in the coming years to make a difference where you go to work and where you live in your community. You can make that difference, and you can inspire other people like these folks do. So we use the land around our plants and the land around our other facilities as a wildlife habitat, as a land management tool. We found the best way to manage this land is to return it back to wildlife. 28 of our facilities in the state have certified wildlife habitat programs through the Wildlife Habitat Council. You can see those signs posted outside of those facilities. We've got more facilities every year that are becoming certified. 4 of these facilities are located within the boundaries of the Detroit River International Wildlife Refuge. Included in these properties are hundreds of acres of diverse habitats, including coastal wetlands along the western basin of Lake Erie. Monroe Power Plant and Fermi Power Plant alone have over 400 acres of coastal wetlands. We've learned that these wetlands are not only important for local flood control and local wildlife, but these sites are situated along major migratory bird routes for songbirds, raptors, waterfowl. And at each of those facilities, we go above and beyond what's required by the government to take care of that land, and we try to restore it to a more natural environment and provide habitat for all kinds of wildlife. I want to give you a few examples. We've installed nesting habitats for a variety of common and endangered birds and bats at all of our power plants and at many other facilities. Our apprentice linemen, the guys that work on when the lights go out to get your power back, constructed an outdoor habitat as a permanent home for an injured eagle at Lake Erie Metro Park. There's an eagle nesting platform on Humbug Island. We've restored natural shoreline along the River Raisin and the Detroit River to provide habitat for fish, turtles, wild waterfowl, and water birds. At Monroe Power Plant, we've restored more than 60 acres of native prairie ecosystems, including 8 acres of wetlands. This land used to be a farmer's field. Now it attracts wildlife. It's used for science education and habitat management studies. We host a nesting peregrine falcons since 1997. We've got a pair of bald eagles that have established a nest on some of our woodlands that border the plant right on Lake Erie. At Trenton Channel Power Plant right up the road here, we've planted native shrubs, trees, perennials. We've got a butterfly garden on the grounds and at the bridge going over to Grosse Ile. We've installed beehives at Sibley Quarry, and some of our employees are now certified beekeepers. We've established a beekeeping team. At Fermi, we've established the Laguna unit of the refuge on 655 acres that's actively managed by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And Fermi's also been selected by a pair of eagles as a place to nest and raise their young for several years now. At the River Rouge Power Plant up the river, we had some kids from the River Rouge High School here earlier this morning. They're creating a natural habitat and an outdoor classroom on 5 acres of land that's unused property on the middle, at the plant that's right in the middle of a heavily industrialized area. Much of this work's been completed by our employees who are cleaning up the environment, and they're getting their hands dirty. Many of us also spend time at the refuge, constructing observation decks, planting trees, clearing trails. Our business perspective on protecting wetlands is simple. Environmental preservation helps the communities we serve become better places to live. Of course, we live in those communities too. We're your neighbors. And when our customers and our communities thrive, so does our company. I hope each of you here today gets the opportunity to learn something new about the values and the benefits of wetlands. Thanks for inviting DT Energy, and enjoy World Wetlands Day.
I also want to thank DTE Energy for giving us a $1,000 volunteer leadership grant today that we can use towards our wetlands program. So thank DTE Energy. At this time, I'd like to call Miss Kathy Klein from Waste Management to talk about their efforts to save the planet.
Thank you all. Whenever I have a room full of young people like this, I could talk to you guys for hours about the importance of so many things, but I have to keep it short, I promise to. We are one of the reasons that you have this wonderful outdoor classroom available to you. If you get an opportunity to take one of the classes, please do so. It's critically important for our next generations to get more involved in spending time outdoors, because studies have proven that if you are not connecting to your natural environment, how likely are you to take care of it? And know this as you look around. All the adults in this room, we are doing our part to make the world a better place, but nothing that we do matters without you guys. So you are the greatest resource that we have in Michigan. And again, just to kind of further drive home the point, we manage waste all over the state, all over the country, but we really want to teach you all the importance of reducing, reusing, and recycling. We're really proud to be a part of this effort and so happy that we were able to provide the outdoor classroom. And I really want to thank your principal, Mr. Hardig here, and the two teachers who have made a tremendous effort to bring this education to you. So each of them will be getting a reusable lunch bag, one of the easiest ways that you can help reduce, reuse, and recycle. Thanks, you guys.
I would also like to call to the podium at this time Mr. Mark Cochran.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson, for giving me the opportunity to say a few remarks on behalf of Congressman Dingell. He certainly wishes that he could be with us here today, but he's in Washington today, tending to the nation's business. One of the things that Mr. Dingell often says is that we do not inherit the earth from past generations, but we borrow it from future generations. And he's asked me to say today that he's proud of everybody that's on this stage and all the adults in the room and the 25 organizations that have worked hard on the wetlands and the marshes in southeast Michigan so that we can take care of them and preserve them from your generation. And he's also asked me to bring a challenge to all the youth that are in the room and sitting in these seats, that you take that challenge seriously and that you work to preserve the wetlands in your backyard and also along the Lake Erie shoreline so that they're going to be there for your kids and your grandkids to enjoy for the future to come. So, like I said, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to celebrate World Wetlands Day with you here today.